What is mentoring? So mentoring for me is, if you go to a mentor is that person who has the ability to get the best out of you. They've either been where you want to go, so they can teach you or advise you or guide you by experience, or they've got the skills to work with you to help you realize your own greatness or the skills that you don't even realize that you had. So I guess for me, a mentor is a little bit like a critical friend. They're a guide, or one of my favorite terms is they're a facilitator of growth. They help people grow, get you from A to B. So who are famous mentors or mentees that I know? Well, I don't know them personally, but I know one of the reasons why I wanted to get into mentoring is because it was this, I know that in my own life that I needed a mentor. I found myself wanting to go certain places and I didn't have anyone around me who could help me get there. It's probably the easiest way of putting it. And so I started to seek individuals that I saw that were quite successful or people who I guess were where I wanted to be, and I wanted to learn how they got there. And so I looked for my own mentor. I looked for somebody that can kind of just almost harness my ambition and help me see the right pathway or help me develop. I don't think a mentor should tell you what to do because otherwise you'll never learn. But I definitely feel that they should facilitate your growth, I would say. I know that there are some real famous mentee relationships. I know Steve Jobs, as everyone knows Steve Jobs, that he mentored Mark Zuckerberg, and I guess not a lot of people know that. Maya Angelou mentored Oprah Winfrey. Warren Buffett, mentored Bill Gates, and look at Bill Gates, one of the richest men in the world. I think he was for years, and they're just three examples of probably famous people that we all know, but that had mentors. And I think sometimes when I sit with my clients, I think to myself, if the most successful people in the world need mentors, why don't we have them? Why do we feel that we can navigate our way through life, or navigate our way through our career, or navigate our way through our business without that other person for us to be accountable for, or that other person to help us grow or facilitate our growth? So the only reason I can think is that people they just don't understand what mentoring can do, really. Do I think mentoring is successful? Well, as a mentor, I'm going to say 100% yes. I think it's about 71% or just over 70% of the Fortune 500 companies have a mentoring program for their staff. So that kind of tells me if the richest companies or the most successful, largest, whatever companies in the world value mentoring and they put those programs in for their staff, that tells me that it works, because over 70% is a massive amount. What do I think are the most important aspects of a mentor? So any mentor that you have has to be, first of all, they need to be a good listener. I mean, that's the skills that they need to get the information from you. Is they've got to be a people person, so they've got to understand people, and they've got to be a good listener, as I said. They've got to be patient. They've got to have foresight. One of the things I find as a mentor, sometimes when people come into my office to be mentored, let's say in their business, they want to get their business to a certain place. I think one of the things that I find most and foremost is often there are personal things in their lives which is probably stopping them from getting where they want to go. Do you know what I mean? So they come in to ask about the business. They say, my business is here, I want it to be here, or, I want to develop in this way. But often I find that it's a personal thing. so they've got a barrier to their own growth. And so often through the mentorship programs that I do personally, I try to get to the bottom of that first. Why are you not growing? Why are you not developing? Why haven't you done this already? It's not always because of time or money. Sometimes there are things in ourselves that stop us from growing and moving forward. So for me, I think the mentor has to have that ability to kind of tap into what's happening in you. And that's a skill that takes time, which is why not everybody has successful mentors. It's not just a black and white situation. You've got to understand the person, you've got to understand personality types, so that you can really get the information from the person and help them grow, essentially. So what do I think a good mentee should be? Yeah. Well, for me, in fact, actually, that's a really good question. I tell you why, because sometimes I get people who I'm not so sure that they want to progress or, or grow. And so for me, anyone who comes to me to be mentored, I need to know they're going to be committed. I need to know that they really want to change. I have a mass amount of drive in my own life. But one thing I realised, you cannot give that to someone else. You cannot force people to have the drive to change. You cannot force that. And all I can do when I mentor is to encourage that. I try my hardest to as I said, look at the barriers initially, but then create hope, bits of vision, allow them to see where they could go. One of the biggest issues anyone who can have as a mentee or somebody who wants to change or be mentored is short-sightedness. If you can't see past the end of your nose, if you can't see past tomorrow, if you can't see past next week, change is not going to happen. You've got to be able to look up every now and then, or to take an elevated position and look at the whole picture, not just the part that you're painting. And so for me, a good mentee has to just be pliable, just be open, and just be willing to make that change.